Breaking chaos, folks. Hollywood just got stripped of its shiny mask. A bombshell jail call between Katt Williams and Shannon has exploded online. And no, this ain't chatter about commissary snacks. This is pure nitroglycerin. In it, Katt spits lines so unhinged, people are dubbing it his final confession. While Shannon claps back with daggers sharp enough to bury reputations or worse. Let that burn in for a moment. Katt Williams. The man famous for frying Hollywood's elite on stage is suddenly caught sounding frantic, paranoid, and pinned to the wall. Shannon, cool as ice but lethal, practically dares him to admit what the streets have whispered for months. The truth about Reggie Carroll's death. And the wildest twist. This ain't rumor. This ain't barbershop gossip. The audio is raw, brutal, and viral, shredding through Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube like a wildfire. Clips of Katt's trembling tonaire everywhere under hashtags like #KattJailCall and #ShannonExposed. With fans obsessing, was this a trap? Or did Katt just torch himself? Strap in, because this leak isn't basic Hollywood teats empire-crushing dynamite. And tonight, every syllable matters. The courtroom wasn't ready for the blast. The instant the call between Katt Williams and Shannon dropped, the energy flipped on its head. Reporters leaped like jackpot winners, cameras swarmed, and jurors stared frozen, as if a live grenade landed on the witness stand. This wasn't filler. This wasn't a footnote. This was evidence nuclear enough to end it all. So what really went down? Rewind the tape. Through the static, Katt's voice cracks first rough, broken, like a man sleepless for weeks. "They know," he mutters. "They already know." Then Shannon cuts in, calm but razor sharp. "Then you better decide, Katt. Keep lying or confess what happened with Reggie." And boom, the internet combusted. For months, whispers of Reggie Carroll's suspicious death haunted dark forums and Reddit threads. But nobody expected Katt Williams himself to get caught on tape sounding like a cornered man. And Shannon, he didn't sound like some chatty podcast host or playful commentator. No, he came across like a full-blown interrogator, dangling the smoking gun just out of reach. The clip barely ran for minutes, but it was nuclear. In those 4 minutes, lines like "you were there" and "they'll bury both of us" leaked through the static. Prosecutors pounced like sharks in blood-filled water, swearing this was a confession in disguise. The defense, red-faced, shrieked manipulated audio. But let's not kid ourselves. Once that tape hit the web, nobody waited for a judge. Twitter went ballistic. TikTok detectives micro-analyzed every pause at 0.25 speed. YouTube streams racked up 200,000 viewers just looping the audio. And the hashtags. Absolutely savage. #KattJail, #ShannonExposed, #Justice for Reggie. Within hours, millions dissected Katt's shaky mutters against Shannon's ice-cold delivery. Public opinion split instantly. Some swore it was the coffin nail-proof. Katt's hands were bloodied. Others shouted setup, claiming Shannon baited him into a verbal trap. But then things got messier. Anonymous whispers online insisted there were more calls. Multiple recordings, allegedly with Katt naming promoters, investors. Even Hollywood execs who wanted Reggie gone because he knew too much. Paranoia skyrocketed. If one 4-minute call could torch the internet, imagine a whole library? And here's the kicker. The FBI isn't denying a thing. No fake, no taken out of context, just one chilling line. The investigation is ongoing. That alone sent conspiracy theories into orbit. Because if it were bogus, why not kill it? If doctored, why not squash it? In today's viral circus, silence screams louder than denial. Meanwhile, back in court, reactions were priceless. The judge's poker face finally cracked, eyes darting toward the prosecution like he'd seen a ghost. Reporters scribbled so furiously their pens broke. And Katt's legal team, frozen solid like every defense they prepped, had just gone up in flames. Flames, but the most haunting moment wasn't the jury or the judge, was Katt Williams himself. As the tape echoed through the courtroom, witnesses swear he leaned forward, elbows planted, face buried in his hands. Some insist he broke down crying. Others claim he smirked. Like a man who knew the storm outside those walls was far deadlier than anything a gavel could deliver. And then there was Shannon. He wasn't even in the building, yet his name stole the spotlight. Headlines screamed, "Shannon Sharp bombshell leaks, Katt jail call overnight." Shannon wasn't just a sports analyst anymore, or some podcaster with hot takes. No, he was suddenly the man accused of detonating Hollywood's darkest vault. But pause, who is Shannon in this hurricane? Why does his voice shake giants? For years, he's been the guy who doesn't flinch. It's the one who'll slam his fist on the table, roast hypocrisy, and laugh while doing it. Athletes, politicians, rappers, he's cooked them all. But this wasn't a rant or playful banter. This was war. And his target, none other than Katt Williams, chaos incarnate. The man who turned comedy tours into riots, interviews into brawls, and scandals into performance art. Yet now, that same man's trembling jailhouse voice is being replayed in a court of law as damning evidence. Still, one ghost lingers over every sentence. Reggie Carroll, he wasn't some extra in this circus. He was the breakout star of Katt's Heaven on Earth tour, the one insiders swear never let go of a black USB drive. A drive rumored to contain contracts, money trails, and secret recordings that could blow Hollywood's glass towers to dust. And Shannon's words in that call, Reggie wasn't going to stay quiet forever. Chills, absolute chills. Because if Reggie truly was the whistleblower and Katt really was cornered, then this call wasn't dialogue. It was a confession camouflaged as a cover-up. Fans pounced instantly, freezing Katt's mugshot beside grainy shots of Reggie. Mugshot plastered beside grainy clips of Reggie on tour. While memes went nuclear, some even photoshopping Shannon's face onto a judge's body, gavel in hand. But under the jokes lurked a creeping dread. What if this is bigger than we think? And just when the internet didn't need more fuel. A shady account dropped what it claimed was the full transcript of the jail call. Real or fake, nobody knew, but the lines were venomous. Katt Williams, "I didn't pull it, but I know who did." Shannon, "Then why protect them? They'll throw you under the bus too, authentic or not." That so-called transcript hit harder than any courtroom statement. Fans tore it apart, word by word. Pundits screamed debates. Celebrities fired off cryptic tweets about truth, always finding a way. And suddenly, this wasn't just Katt Williams on trial, it felt like Hollywood itself strapped into the hot seat. The question everyone was too scared to voice in court echoed online. If Shannon had this call, what else was he sitting on? If this one tape caused an earthquake, what kind of apocalypse would a whole stash unleash? Nobody asked if anymore, they asked when. When would the next leak drop? When would the next grenade explode? And who would it drag down with it? Whispers claim Shannon wasn't acting alone. Talk of a shadow network insiders hoarding evidence, biding time until the perfect strike. Screenshots, flooded timelines, supposed emails between Shannon and faceless sources, referencing the package, the transcripts, even the USB. Some dismissed it as fan fiction gone wild, but others swore it was gospel. In a world where Photoshop looks more real than reality, perception hardened into fact. The frenzy snowballed. Twitter threads stretched into S-length breakdowns. TikTok sleuths built conspiracy webs with ominous music and red strings. YouTube commentators held emergency live streams, promising exclusive details as hundreds of thousands tuned in, hungry for the next bombshell, while raking in views by the hundreds of thousands. And the public. They devoured it because, let's be real, Hollywood doesn't just survive on scandal, it feeds on it. But this wasn't mere gossip. This was a full-blown demolition. Inside the courtroom, prosecutors strutted like peacocks, parading the jail call as if it were an Oscar trophy. They replayed snippets, zoomed in on every pause, every shaky breath from Katt Williams. Hear that hesitation. One attorney barked, pointing at the spectrogram glowing on screen. "That's not comedy. That's guilt. That's not comedy. That's guilt." The defense faces flushed, fired back that the tape was chopped and doctored. But the crowd wasn't buying it. To them, this wasn't evidence, it was prophecy finally revealed. And then came the curveball no one expected, a grainy 15-second clip, dropped by a burner account labeled simply Cell Block Confession. No watermark, no source, just shaky footage of a man, eerily like Katt, hunched over a prison phone whispering, "I ain't the only one. They're coming for all of us." The internet lost its mind. Some crowned it the smoking gun. Others screamed deep fake. Analysts turned amateur CS ice-lowing frames, comparing jawlines, dissecting echoes in the background. But honestly, none of it mattered. Real or fake, it spread like wildfire, racking up millions of views in hours. Hashtag CellBlockConfession trended worldwide, and suddenly Hollywood's loudmouth elites, usually first in line with hot takes, went dead silent. No tweets, no denials, no statements. That silence was louder than any PR spin. Because if Katt was bluffing, if it was all smoke, wouldn't the machine crush it instantly? Instead, silence poured gasoline on the blaze. Whispers got darker. Maybe Shannon had more than a single tape. Maybe he had files. Files with names too massive to bury. And then came the so-called transcript leak, a 7-page PDF bouncing around the internet, claiming to be the full record of multiple jail calls. In it, Katt Williams allegedly named not just Reggie, but big league promoters, shadowy investors, even A-list actors thinly disguised by initials. They paid him off. The transcript read, "They told me if I talked, I'd disappear too." Was it real? Probably not. Was it viral? Absolutely. Fans went line by line, circling letters, guessing identities, dragging half of Hollywood before breakfast. The court of public opinion had already slammed down its gavel. This wasn't about Katt anymore. This was about an empire built on silent sand. Shannon had just set the first charge. Just cracked it open. But let's focus on the ghost haunting this entire circus. Reggie Carroll, once just a tragic headline. His name has become the story's bloody heartbeat. Old clips resurfaced Reggie laughing backstage, scribbling in notebooks, clutching that infamous black USB like it was his lifeline. Interviews were reposted with captions dripping in dread. Look how nervous he was. He knew too much. That was the beginning of the end. Then came the most chilling leak yet, a grainy audio file, allegedly recorded weeks before Reggie's death. A voice eerily like his whispered, "If anything happens to me, don't believe the headlines. Look at the files. Look at Katt. Could anyone prove it was real?" No. Did that stop it from detonating online? Absolutely not. The theory reignited. Reggie wasn't a victim. He was a whistleblower silenced by giants. The public split into war camps. On one side, #FreeKatt diehards, swearing the comedian was framed as a patsy for Hollywood's real puppet masters. On the other, #KattExposed crusaders, pointing at his history of chaos as proof of guilt. Memes, breakdowns, reaction streams. The digital battlefield raged day and night. But the storm spilled offline. Vigils for Reggie morphed into protests. Crowds gathered outside courthouses, holding banners, reading justice. For Reggie in Hollywood, lies exposed. Police confirmed clashes between protesters and counter-protesters screaming, "Free Katt now." The trial stopped being entertainment. It had mutated into a movement. Inside Hollywood, paranoia spread like plague. Celebs wiped socials clean, unfollowed anyone remotely tied to the mess. Some canceled appearances with flimsy excuses. Others issued vague statements about supporting truth without daring to drop names. Meanwhile, whispers swirled. Studio execs holding emergency meetings, terrified that if Shannon unleashed more tapes, billion-dollar productions could collapse overnight. And then the loudest silence of all, the FBI. No denials, no clarity. Just rumors of secret raids, boxes of files, hard drives, entire offices stripped bare. Hard drives, even laptops, seized from companies loosely tied to the Heaven on Earth tour. Blogs screamed that investigators had tripped over a financial spiderweb too messy to untangle offshore accounts, shady transfers, shadow contracts. If even half of it checked out, this wasn't about one comedian in cuffs. This was about an industry on the edge of implosion. And then, boom, Shannon broke his silence. A surprise live stream, eyes blazing, voice sharp as a blade. Y'all think this is about one call? This ain't the movie. This is just the trailer. The movie's about to drop. That single line ignited the internet. Fans clipped it, remixed it, blasted it as TikTok soundtracks. Within hours, hashtag the movie trended worldwide. This wasn't just scandal anymore, it was Hollywood's ugliest reality show. And everyone was waiting for the next episode. The question shifted, not if another bombshell would drop, but who it would destroy. Then came the darkest whisper yet. There wasn't just one USB. There was a second drive, a backup, a ticking time bomb capable of nuking the entire system. If that second drive surfaced, it wouldn't just take down Katt Williams, it would torch everyone orbiting him. The rumors spread like wildfire, transforming courtroom gossip into full-blown apocalypse prophecy for Hollywood. If one leak shredded reputations, the second was rumored to be lethal, career-ending, empire-shattering, maybe even life-threatening. Theories snowballed faster than fact-checkers could keep up. Some swore the second USB contained encrypted emails, contracts signed by A-list initials, and midnight recordings of secret meetings. Others claimed it exposed bank transfers linking Reggie Carroll's death straight to the wallets of Hollywood's untouchables. Fear turned tangible. Promoters bailed. Production companies axed projects tied to anyone with even a hint of Katt's shadow. Paparazzi stalked execs, sneaking out back doors, hoodies pulled low, faces buried. Pulled low, faces buried. Meanwhile, the streets boiled. Fans demanded answers. Protesters swarmed FBI offices, chanting, "Release the files." And the noise grew too loud to ignore. Offices chanting, "Release the files." Others live-streamed their own investigations, convinced they were one clue away from cracking Hollywood wide open. And through all the noise, Katt Williams sat in his cell silent. No statement, no denial, just that eerie calm that split the internet. Was he shattered, or 10 moves ahead of everyone? Shannon, meanwhile, doubled down. Another stream, another cryptic warning. If the first tape shook y'all, wait till the next one. You'll see who's really running this circus. That single line detonated panic across Hollywood. Because if a second drive surfaced, it wouldn't just torch Katt, Shannon, or even Reggie. It would obliterate the machine itself. The web of money, power, and silence that had ruled the industry for decades. And once cracks form in a machine that size, the whole empire can collapse overnight. By now, the internet wasn't asking if the truth would spill. They were asking how much blood it would cost. Who else would be dragged out? Who else would burn? And the darkest question of all was Reggie Carroll's silence because he carried the truth. Or because the truth itself was too deadly to let anyone live with. As the gavel dropped to close another day of hearings, one thing was undeniable. This wasn't the finale, it was just the trailer. The leaks weren't done. The secrets weren't buried. And that second USB, myth or not, hung over Hollywood like a storm waiting to break. When it does, it won't just change careers. It'll change everything. So what do you believe? Was the jail call between Katt Williams and Shannon the smoking gun the world's been whispering about? Or just another setup in Hollywood's dirtiest game? Another Hollywood stunt to pin everything on the fall guy while the real puppet masters sip champagne in the shadows? Let's be honest, no 4-minute phone call should rock an entire empire this hard. Unless, of course, the rumors about that second USB are true. If it's real, if it really carries the names and files people swear it does, then this isn't just about Katt Williams anymore. This is about an empire built on silence, seconds away from erupting in flames. And now, it's your turn. Was Reggie Carroll silenced because he carried the truth, or because the truth itself was too lethal to let live? Was Katt's trembling voice a confession? Or the panic of a man trapped in someone else's game? And when the next leak drops, who else goes down with him? Drop your theories in the comments. This debate is just heating up. Hit that like button if you're ready for the truth the mainstream won't touch. Share this video so no one buries the conversation. And don't forget to subscribe, because when the next bombshell lands, and trust me, it will, you'll want to be right here first. Stay tuned, because Hollywood's darkest secrets are only just starting to crawl out of the shadows.